This is Nisreen's Art World. In this podcast, I will share my thoughts about different art forms such as films, books, paintings, performing art, etc. Hello, this is Nisreen. Welcome to the 5th episode of my podcast. It's lovely to speak to you again. Today, I'd love to talk about one of my favorite picture books, Small Pig, by the famous American author Arnold Lobel. The book was first published in 1969 and is still loved all around the world today. I grew up reading the Japanese translation with my parents. You may wonder why I chose this children's book as a podcast theme. I believe that picture books are an extremely important art form because oftentimes it's the very first art form people get exposed to. So its impact stays with us even after we grow up. According to Exploring the Therapeutic Effect of Children's Picture Books, a dissertation by Yunfan Chen from Syracuse University, the experience of reading stories with illustrations greatly supports children's emotional development. Quote, "A picture's purpose is to clarify meaning by conveying information and complementing the meaning of a word. But pictures are not just sensory pleasure. They also contain information, emotion, storytelling. The beauty of picture books is that the words and illustrations support each other in telling stories and connecting with children. Children benefit from illustrated books because they enable them to explore their emotions." Unquote. I will explain 3 reasons why Small Pig is an ideal example of the unique power of storytelling in picture books. Let's get right into it. 1. It will make you laugh. Maybe this is the first thing you will notice about Small Pig. This story is so goofy. It goes like this. A farmer and his wife have a small pig called Small Pig. They love him like he was their baby. Small Pig loves to sit in soft, comfortable mud. So much that when the farmer's wife cleans up the mud in his pig pen, he gets angry and runs away. The story follows his little adventure in the outside world. The simple illustrations perfectly capture Little Pig's cuteness. I know from his perspective, losing his mud puddle is a tragedy. But it's hard not to laugh, looking at his little frowning face and the little ribbon on his head. Like Matilda by Roald Dahl shows us, children especially appreciate humor in books. Little Pig's great sense of humor is definitely one of the factors that makes it a masterpiece. Also, I have to mention how great the Japanese translation by Reiko Kishida is. She used Japanese onomatopoeia such as zuzuzu to express the sensation of the small pig sinking in mud. I still remember laughing at that section when I was small. 2. It will make your heart race. As mentioned earlier, Small Pig is about the titular character's little tragedies and challenges in life. Thus, it's not only funny, but thrilling. It makes you cheer for the protagonist. In a particular scene where Small Pig ends up in an unfortunate situation, I won't tell you what to avoid spoilers. You will find yourself feeling anxious for him. The art is really evocative. In this scene, it reminds me of the kind of nightmare you would have as a small child about leaving your safe home and facing the big scary world. Finally, 3. It will teach you a valuable lesson. As I mentioned earlier, this story is funny and sweet. It doesn't come across as a moralizing story at all. However, looking back now, I see how educational the story was, especially for kids' parents. Even though the farmer's wife cleaning the pig pen was a perfectly reasonable action for an adult, at the end of the story, she promises a small pig that she will never ruin his mud hole again. This showcases how important it is for adults to respect kids' values and boundaries, no matter how silly they may seem. This moral message is somehow reminiscent of a Japanese well-known picture book, Oshire no Bouken, or The Adventure of Closet by Taruhi Furuta and Seiichi Tabata. It's primarily a fantasy adventure two boys have in the closet of a nursery school. However, it also contains a moral lesson for the teachers. The teachers put the boys in the closet as a punishment for their bad behavior without listening to their explanation of events. In the 1970s, when the book was published, this type of authoritarian attitude to children was very much normalized, especially in Japan. The boys are told by the teachers to apologize if they want to get out of the closet, but even though it's scary in the closet, they refuse. And they discover a fantasy world in the closet where they have adventures. They defeat the villains in the fantasy world without seeking any help from outside. At the end of the story, when the boys finally get out of the closet, the teachers apologize to the boys for having ignored their pleas and explanations. They even agree to abolish usage of the closet for punishment. The message is clear as day here. Listen to your kids. I find it fascinating that these two books, with completely different styles and cultural backgrounds, have some common ground. From kids' perspective, though, The Adventure of Closet is about their own bravery and resilience. On the other hand, Small Pig showcases the beauty of self-acceptance to children. The farmer and his wife adore Small Pig and look for him despite his quirkiness and silly mistakes. And the last scene, where he sinks in his favorite mud puddle once more, feels like a big thumbs up to him living his life the way he finds joy. What did you think? I'd be delighted if you write a review of this podcast on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. And of course, you're more than welcome to let me know your thoughts about children's books from the contact form in the description. Thank you so much for listening. Goodbye for now.